all this information, all these places, it needs to be updated, it needs to be factual. Take care. Regions at a glance. Beautiful. Eat and drink. Lovely. Oh, look at that. What a beautiful mountain. Outdoor activities where you can go, swimming with turtles, diving in the Philippines. That's still prevalent. These are routes that you can turn around and take and look at, itineraries and how long it takes. Cultures, festivals, months. First time in the Philippines.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you.
Good afternoon. Today, what am I talking about today? Right, well, it's a little bit blustery today, so I went downtown, got absolutely soaking wet. So come back, had a shower, and I'm drying off. A couple of things I want to talk about today is one is about when you come into the Philippines. Now, when I came to the Philippines, I had this book, Lonely Planet, and I used this book. But this book is out of date now. There's still stuff in it that is applicable, but it used to give you really, really good details. But if you're coming to the Philippines, be wary if you're buying any of these books, because they were printed 4, 5, 6 years ago. They're out of date. They can put a reprint in them, but they haven't been all the way around the Philippines to find out which ones of these resorts are open or closed. They might be doing that now. The other thing in there, it turns around and says about the weather conditions, and that's the second part of my vlog today, is that when you turn around and come to the Philippines, at certain times of the year, like November, December, January, February, it's known as the rainy season. And you will get these monsoon type conditions. Now, there are certain places in the Philippines you keep away from at that time of the year. Siargao is one of those, because that's where it's within the tornado zone north of Mindanao, and if you're here you can pick it up. When you're outside of the Philippines, they don't turn around and tell you there is a low pressure area coming in to that beach resort area, and you could wake up in the middle of the night and the windows are rattling and shattering and moving because there is 80-mile-an-hour winds coming up the beach. There's high seas that will wash away that pristine golden sand beach, and it won't be there. And because the palm trees are not deep-rooted trees, they get blown up and they get blown over, and they could end up crushing your car, or they could end up piled up outside of your resort. So bear in mind that, guys, when you come here. Look at that at this time of the year. I've got a friend of mine, he's just turned up, and he's over in Samal Island, a guy called Paul, and it's beautiful over there. Don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. However, on the north of Mindanao, they got 60-mile-an-hour winds. They got howling hooly rain. So it looks great in the picture, but it's not actually happening today. Okay, so when you come here, look at where the tornado areas are. Look at where the weather regions are, and be careful where you decide you want to go. So if you're up near Leyte, or you're up near Naga or Tacloban, or you're going north in the Philippines, that is a storm zone today. That's a big storm area. Big low pressures come through there. So the seas are going to be rough. The beaches are going to be rough. The winds are going to be up. And it can get a little bit scary if you're not used to that. If you're used to turning around and like going to the Bahamas or Barbados, or you're going to, Bohol, or you're going to Palawan, it's lovely, crystal clear, sandy beaches. But at certain times of the year in the Philippines, it's very windy, it's very inclement, and it does get scary. Yeah, it does get scary. Don't take it away. I've been out riding my bike, and the winds have been doing 35, 40 gradually increasing to 60 miles an hour, and I've had to pull over and I've had to turn around and go find shelter, because it does get scary when you're doing that along the road and other cars are moving like this because the wind is blowing them. And bikes, you just pull over and you get off the road. You just get off because you don't know whether the wind's going to pick up a piece of metal, or it's going to pick up a piece of timber, or it's going to pick up a bush, or it's going to pick up a tree, or it's going to blow something onto the highway. So weather conditions when you come here, check it out. Please just check it out, because it does get that scary scariness. So just going back, give you a little bit. Travel guides, they're great, but they're not updated after it's opened up. Now, the other thing I want to add to this is that when you come here, let's say you're going to come into Davao, that's where I live, let's talk about Davao. You're going to fly into Davao, you're here for a couple of days, couple of weeks, whatever. You can now fly to Singapore with Cebu Airways for around 8,000 pesos, yeah, to Singapore. And you don't need an entry visa to get into Singapore. You just need your UK passport, and you fill out a vaccination online card saying about your vaxxer. You can get to Singapore, and on the way back you just need an e-pass, and that will get you into the Philippines. So it's opening up. Now, if you want to fly to Malaysia, you can fly to Malaysia from Davao Airport, okay, and you can fly to other islands in the Philippines, and you don't need any documentation just apart from your ID. That's what you need, your passport. So that is opened up, and it's become really, really easy to do. So there are 3 destinations you can get to from Davao with Cebu Airways. One of those is Thailand. Within the next 7 days they're going to be doing flights direct into Thailand. The other one is into Singapore. The other one is into Malaysia. Would I recommend flying into Hong Kong? No, I wouldn't recommend going into Hong Kong. People do it, friends of mine have done it, they fly in there. I don't know what all the restrictions are, and I don't know what all the paperwork is required, okay, but they're not advising that here. Vietnam, you can travel to Vietnam for Hanoi, and you can turn around and travel to Ho Chi Minh. Now, those destinations I'm giving you are 4 hours on a plane. They're not 6, 10, 15, they are 4 hours, and they are good destinations to go to if you come to the Philippines and you're at this time of the year and you're in a resort and all of a sudden it becomes inclement. All of a sudden there's a typhoon coming. All of a sudden there's a weather front coming in that's going to turn around, be lots of water, lots of wind, lots of high tide, travelling, because when it doesn't just affect you guys when you come here, it affects the locals. The locals don't do the stuff. They don't go out in a bunker. They don't go out and travel. They just hunker down and they just turn around and have a little bit of a party, a little bit of a relax. So bear in mind when you come, tour guide books, great, because no tourists were coming in here. They reckon there's 2.5 million tourists at the moment coming into the Philippines. I'm not seeing that in Davao at the moment. It might be in Manila, yeah, it might be in Cebu, I don't know. But in Davao, I was out today and I saw two foreigners. And the reason you can tell they're foreigners, because they're as white as the pages in this book, yeah. They are white, lily white, and you can go, oh, foreigner. I don't know where they come from, but you just around and you can see what's going on. Now, the other thing is that talking about that weather, when you come here, you will be seduced by the beaches. You will be seduced by the friendliness of the Filipinos. You will be seduced by the countryside. You will be seduced, and you will turn around and think about, oh, I want to move there. And when you start thinking about wanting to move there, if you're looking to turn around and rent, or you're looking to buy, have a look at the typhoon areas, because what you don't want to turn around and do is you don't want to get yourself a condo, you don't want to buy yourself or rent a house that is in a typhoon zone, because you know for 4 months of the year you're going to be in a storm zone living in your property. It might look great when it's 6 months of the year or 7 months of the year when the sun's out and The water looks like you've just ironed it, and it's crystal clear, and the beaches are pristine, and the people are all out having the time of their lives, and they're all in t-shirts and shorts because you don't need heavy duty clothes because it's nice and warm. But when you turn around and you're out of that season, in the wet and the rainy season, you've got to live with that wherever you are. And so if you're coming here and you get that seduction of the Philippine culture and the Philippine people and the Philippine festivals and the Philippine food, and you want to come and reside here, look at where you are going to reside. Make sure you're not living in a 20-story condo or a 30-story condo, and it's doing that when there's a typhoon whipping around it, because it is very, very scary when you're 150 feet up in the air and your double glazing's rattling and your AC's whistling and the water and the wind are hitting the outside of your condominium, and you're like, my God, I don't feel safe up here. That's the word, I don't feel safe up here. If there is no typhoons coming through that area, like in Davao, you get the wind and you get the rain, but you don't get it like a typhoon. Yeah, that's when it becomes scary. And that whole part up near Siargao, going up through Tacloban, going up through Leyte, you just need to go and look at some of the typhoons that have gone through that area. Now, south of Davao, you've actually got an area down going out towards Digos and going out towards Jensen that's it's prone to earthquakes. And 2 weeks ago they had a 6.5 earthquake down there, quite severe. 6 of the roads were blocked because the mountains created landslides because they'd had a lot of rain, and all the water ended up on the roads. So that's another thing to look at. Do you want to live in an area where you might be living on the side of the mountain with fantastic views over the lowlands up at Cotabato and going out towards Lake Cebu, and you get a lot of rain, you get an earthquake, and then all of a sudden your lovely vistas are now all sat next to the roadside. You can't control the weather, can't control the environment, but what you can control is where you feel safe to go and stay and live and reside and travel from. Okay, talking about travel, I ride a scooter, but you can get people to turn around and take you in a bus, or you can go on a jeepney, or you can get a taxi, or you can turn around and you can get a van. Those things will turn around and take you all over the Philippines, and they are great fun to do. They are really great fun. And all Asian countries have different types of hubble, different types of scooters, different types of pedicabs, different types of vans, different types of buses, and they pimp them all up in fantastic colours or lights or TVs, or they turn around and put ghetto glasses in them. It's an eclectic culture, shall we say, but it's a really, really enjoyable culture. So today, for me, this vlog is about when I came back into the Philippines. These books were on sale. They're trying to give them away. How much of the information here is correct? Not a lot. The festivals are still the same. The prices different. Opening times are different. It's got a bit in here where it turns around and says that restaurants open from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock and then reopen at 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the morning. That's not there. I'm not seeing that. I see restaurants opening up to virtually 12 hours a day. They don't get a split shift. Bars get split shifts. They turn around and close off in the afternoon because people are at work. They don't want to turn around and come out of work or go back to work stinking or half cut. But there are those things actually happening. But travel, I've noticed travel's become a lot easier. Flying out of the Philippines and flying into the Philippines, where it's Davao, Cebu or Manila, has become simpler. It's become a little bit difficult getting back in because you just need this e-pass, but that will turn around and relax. But a friend of mine has just gone to Singapore and he spent 7 days in Singapore, all very, very easy. And I'm looking to turn around in 2023 with Annie when I can get a slot in her university stuff. Turn around, let's go to Singapore. The thing for me about Singapore now, last year, beginning of this year, you needed a visa to go to Singapore. You needed a visa to go to Malaysia. You needed a visa to go to Vietnam with your Filipina. You don't now. And that's key. passport, vaccination certification, and fill it out online, get your ticket, you can fly. That for me is a bonus, because that means you've got reciprocal people coming in and out of the countries. You get your 30-day visa, you get, I think it's 90 days in Malaysia, I think it's 45 days in Vietnam, Thailand it's 45 days, Singapore it's 30 days. So you can, if you've got a Filipina and you're travelling, she can come with you, you can come with that, you fill out your tourist visa, she fills out a tourist visa, and that's it, done. Simple. And I'm going to be doing that in 2023. I'm also going to do, in 2023, I'm going to do another vlog on the bike. I'm going to do a couple of longer trips out of Davao, around Mindanao, maybe around Visayas, and maybe up to Bantanes on the scooter. So let's see how my body goes, but that's what I'm going to be doing. But
felt that way, and guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to grey as you fade away, as you fade away.